Welcome. As we await the start of today's US trade, I thought we'd take a look at some of those companies, those stocks that might react to some of the developing news, being it Cyber Monday. But first of all, Black Friday experience here in the UK looks as though it's on course to top last year's numbers, which came in at a record £2 billion. Industry figures showed that footfall here in the UK was up by 2%, with high street growth at 2.8%. Now that beat retail park and shopping centre growth, somewhat surprisingly maybe. Footfall had been expected to drop by 5%, so you can see the outperformance there. Now, today is Cyber Monday, although over the weekend online purchases climbed by 6.7% compared to last year, but this fell well short of forecast for 25%. And was a big slowdown compared with a rise of 31% in 2015. I want to take a look first of all at what's been happening here in the UK with the FTSE 350 retail index, because this is a really good way to measure what's been going on. Not necessarily particularly just for Black Friday, because it's still not really the sort of event over here as it is in the States, but you can see that the retailers have been under pressure. And to be frank with you, it doesn't look like this number is really going to stir things on the upside necessarily. What happens with all of these purchases we make there made at a big discount, and what happens is, of course, the margins get squeezed. So we're looking for a continuation of this drop that we've seen for the FTSE 350 retail index. It's been experienced since the highs in June, July last year. And you can see today we've got another candle on the way down. Here we are at 24.91. There is a little bit of support coming through at about the 24.59 level, and then all the way down to 22.42. So looking as though we could well see a continuation of this drop that we've got, and that's certainly confirmed by the stochastic. Meanwhile, in the US, soaring e-commerce sales on Black Friday has put it on course to challenge Cyber Monday as the year's busiest online shopping day. So that's all been brought forward. But the opening days of the holiday shopping season have also seen heavy discounting, and that, as we've seen in the UK, could weigh on retailers' profits. US e-commerce sales had a record $3.3 billion on Black Friday, a 22% increase from the same period last year, according to Adobe Digital Index. Let's take a look at some of these companies worth looking at. I want to take a look at three US e-commerce companies that come to mind. First of all, Amazon. Now, Amazon has really been turning on the profit recently, and you can see this up run that we've had in Amazon stock. And things don't look like they're letting up anytime soon either. The stochastics showing this rise. Yes, it's overbought, but nonetheless, it is still a stock that looks like it's got further upside to go. We've seen this rise. We've seen a little bit of selling into this period of the year. But the stock is at $770.40. Now, assuming that we are going to see a continuation of this rise, what we'd had to have done is look back to the low point in February this year. In terms of the move that we've seen up, we have had a break of this trend line here, but the support and the general move in the market looks like we could well continue to see upward moves for Amazon. It does depend on how we see today developing, and you'll be looking through for some good numbers for Amazon to see whether or not we can get any further uptick in that stock. Let's just take a look at one particular company with one particular product, Apple. Now, like a lot of these companies, Apple doesn't discount heavily, particularly on Cyber Monday, but we've seen this stock recover from the recent lows, and the stochastic has moved up in this rise that we've seen recently. This indicates that buying has been relatively heavy compared with those wanting to exit the stock, and you can see we've seen a little bit of an uptick in the stock recently from the lows at $103. We're currently trading at $111.57, just below what's likely to be a little bit of resistance at $112.07. Assuming we get a daily candle past this, we then have upside to go, and you'll be looking at this resistance line here at something like 114.50 as the next upside resistance level to watch for Apple. Should we get a close, a daily close that is above that resistance line that we've got there today. Just one other all-session stock I want to take a look at, and that's Walmart Stores, the bricks and mortar company. And you can see the rise that we've seen from this time last year for the stock of Walmart it is beginning to top out, and it is coming into some sort of congestion here with these moving averages. The blue moving average is the 100-day moving average, which is just a little bit above where we are at the moment. The stock is currently at 71.10, and it doesn't look like this stock wants to go that much higher at the moment. That being said, the stock topped out recently at some 74.48. On the downside, you've got support at 66.77, but it'll be interesting to see whether we can get this continuation this week of this upward trend. Look out for data coming through from Walmart on its experience for the Black Friday start of the shopping holiday season, and as we go into the all-important Christmas period for these retailers.